near Washington, D.C. I'm Dave Anthony.
We are now at a point where we are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation.
After an all-night search in the frigid waters of the Potomac River, where both the American Airlines regional jet and the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter it collided with went down after an explosion.
We have recovered 27 people from the plane and 1 from the helicopter.
Washington, D.C. Fire Chief John Donnelly. There were 3 soldiers on the helicopter, 64 people on the plane that's now in 3 pieces in the water.
This is devastating. We are all hurting incredibly.
This American Airlines CEO Robert Isom, the flight was coming in from Wichita, Kansas. Some of the passengers were members of the U.S. figure skating team. The organization put out a statement that the athletes, coaches, and family members were returning from a development camp following U.S. figure skating championships in Wichita. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says they're trying to figure out what went wrong, why they collided on a clear night.
This was not unusual with a military aircraft flying the river and aircraft landing at DCA.
The plane was just about to land at the time. President Trump posted on Truth Social, "It's a bad situation that looks like it could have been prevented." This was hours after the president signed his first bill since returning to the White House, the Laken Riley Act, named for the Georgia woman murdered last year by a man in the U.S. illegally. The law expands the ability to deport illegal immigrants charged with various crimes. Now, President Trump also says as immigration raids continue nationwide, arresting people here illegally who've committed crimes, he's going to send some to Guantanamo.
We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people.
Hamas has set 8 more hostages free from Gaza as part of a ceasefire. The first one was an Israeli soldier, then 2 Israeli civilians, and 5 residents of Thailand. America's listening to Fox News.
Identity Theft Awareness Week is here. There's a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second and will fix identity theft guaranteed or your money back. Plus, plans include the $1 Million Protection Package with up to $3 million in coverage for the most comprehensive plan. Take control of your identity with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com. Show the coupon at the pharmacy and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
We'll get our top Fox News story. No survivors in the midair crash last night between an American Airlines regional jet and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. 64 people on the plane, 3 soldiers on the helicopter. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be back at the Senate for a second confirmation hearing as the Health and Human Services Secretary nominee.
I believe that that vaccines play a critical role in healthcare.
Insisting he's not anti-vax, not anti-food industry, but pro-safety. But Kennedy sparred with Democratic senators like Ron Wyden.
Mr. Kennedy has embraced conspiracy theories, quacks, charlatans, especially when it comes to the safety and efficacy of vaccines.
Also this morning, 2 other controversial Trump nominees have hearings. Tulsi Gabbard in line to be Director of National Intelligence. Senator Tom Cotton chairs the Intel Committee that will question Gabbard, tells Fox he supports her.
You're going to have a lot of Democrats critical of her today because she finally saw the light and left the Democratic Party and came over to the Republican side.
The president's choice of the FBI director also under scrutiny.
Kash Patel worked in the first Trump administration, including as senior advisor to the acting director of national intelligence. But now he's the president's pick to run the FBI. He's got an uphill climb and quite a few critics, many of whom question everything from his experience to his beliefs. He said he'd close the FBI building in Washington, D.C. and turn it into a museum about the deep state and send the 7,000 people who work inside to go chase down murderers and criminals. Go be cops, he told a podcast last fall. Ahead of the hearing, Senate Judiciary Committee ranking member Dick Durbin asked the FBI and DOD for more information about what he said were unauthorized comments Patel had made about the rescue of 2 Americans held captive by Iranian-backed militants in Yemen. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
On Wall Street, the day after selling, a mixed bag. Dow futures are down, but NASDAQ futures are rising. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Search underway to find a woman who went missing in Champaign. Police say Brittany Shervisky was last seen July 24th of last year. The 35-year-old was reported missing last week. Anyone with information, contact Champaign Police. Illinois Republicans suing over the state's legislative map. House GOP members filed a lawsuit asking the state Supreme Court to declare the Democratic mapping effort an unconstitutional political gerrymandering. Suit claims the boundaries were drawn to give Democrats supermajorities in the state House and Senate. Republicans argue the legislative boundaries enacted into the state law in 2021 violate the state's constitution mandate that elections be free and equal. The jury could begin deliberating in Michael Madigan's landmark corruption trial. Deliberations will start after prosecutors present a rebuttal argument. Michael McClain delivered his closing arguments on Tuesday. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Well, good morning. It is ESPN 93.5. It is 6 past 7 a.m. I am Stevie J. Diane's off the rest of the week, but meteorologist Greg Solier has jumped on board. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. How about you, sir?
I think you called for rain today, and it looks like that's going to happen the next couple of days, I think, huh?
Yep. Well, yeah, rain's coming, and we've kind of slowed a little bit on the arrival of some of this real cold Arctic air that'll entrench itself over the northern and western reaches of the country. So it even means the system for the second half of next week is going to be primarily, if not all, rain. So it is very much almost, I don't know, a hint of early spring, you think, maybe?
Mm-hmm, maybe. I tell you, though, it's mild as can be. I mean, it feels... 30 feels warm to me now after going through that.
Yeah, well, just wait till Sunday around here. You got your golf clubs close by?
Oh, wow. How high are we getting Sunday?
57. How's that?
How about
yeah.
that, man?
That's long lines at the car wash kind of day type weather.
Right.
So.
That's right. No, it's good stuff. I love it. I love the fact that we get this respite because every day we get like this is super, super blessed. That's for sure.
That is a great way to look at the perspective on this next to last day of January.
Well, you the man. We appreciate it. Meteorologist Greg Solier, 707. We've reached Ryan Schmeltz from Fox News Radio about this horrific crash at Reagan International last night. Collision between a Black Hawk helicopter and a passenger jet for American Airlines. And we have understood just moments ago there are no survivors. Ryan, horrible.
It is horrible. I think we've learned overnight that there were several, we don't know specifics on how many, but several members of the U.S. Figure Skating Association who were on this plane. You know, I think we're still trying to figure out, you know, who these victims were, how many of them. Yeah, we have an idea of how many people were on the plane now, which is that it was 60 passengers, 4 crew members on the American Airlines flight. When it comes to the Black Hawk helicopter, I believe 3 crew members is the number that we have. And, yeah, the cause, we're still trying to figure all that out.
It's just that, you know, in today's, all these alarms and avoidance systems, you got, I can see the video, everybody's seen the video of, you know, there's that one. Man, you just don't know how in the heck that would have happened.
Well, I can tell you this, being on Capitol Hill a lot, covering Congress, I cannot tell you how many people they have brought before these relevant committees and talked about all these near misses and all the people that need to be held accountable for them and how they can stop them and what needs to be fixed. They just reauthorized the FAA, and this was top of mind when they were working on this thing, which was how do we stop these near misses? How do we make the airspace safer? Well, just a few months after it gets passed, now we're seeing a horrific crash, very tragic crash, and we've got lots of questions that need to be answered.
Well, I tell you, great insight, Ryan. I hadn't known that. So we've talked about it. Now it happened. But yeah, it's a stunning story. So I guess the NTSB is there. You've got some information coming out shortly. I think they're going to talk to the media. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think we're expecting a press conference probably sometime this morning. You know, a lot of stuff can happen overnight. I believe the last presser they had was like 12:30 Eastern time after midnight yesterday.
Yeah.
So they've been having these frequent pressers, and I wouldn't be shocked if we hear from them, you know, relatively early this morning. And I think also the Senate's in session today. There'll probably be some questions to be asked there, and there could be some talks with the media as well.
Yeah, Potomac, I think the temperature is 35. There's just no hope of survivors on this. That happened last night. So, Yeah, it's a horrible deal, but a story we certainly want to get information on. I know that you are super busy this morning, my friend. Listen, thanks for the info, and we'll be looking for updates. Thank you, Ryan.
Hey, appreciate you. Thank you.
Ryan Schmeltz from Washington, D.C. this morning on the crash of the Black Hawk and the American Airlines. Dr. Nathaniel Cogley from Stephenville, Texas at Tarleton State University. Please tell me how Black Hawk hits an American. I don't get it. They have alert systems, bells and whistles. How's that happen, man? I don't know.
What, the crash?
Yeah, man. It's horrible just to see these visuals. And they just met with the media, and there's, everybody's talking, but I didn't know they've been dealing with close calls at Reagan International for a while. So we'll get some answers. Dr. Nathaniel Cogley is the associate professor of political science, Tarleton State University. Very learned, very good. If you had a class here, I'd be taking it, sir. I'd be taking it. I'd be in your class.
I'd love to come out there to Champaign, Illinois. Sounds like a great place.
Yeah, University of Illinois, All right, so the Pentagon is pulling General Milley's security detail, taking down his pictures. Did he tell the Chinese we have no plans to attack you in 2017? Is that true?
He admitted that under oath to Congress, that he said something to that effect. There's also a question that, after speaking with Nancy Pelosi, he called in certain commanders around the nuclear arms and told them, not to take action from the president without speaking to him first. He disturbed the chain of command. He's not in the chain of command. We have a commander-in-chief of the military who has a secretary of defense, so he kind of usurped himself in the process. Now, it's been a wild 10 days for him because 10 days ago his portrait was up at the Pentagon. He got a preemptive pardon for any crimes he did for the last 10 years. And 10 days later, we got an investigation into demoting him. We get his portrait down, and we get his security detail revoked.
Well, you can't. You can't do that. You can't circumvent the power of the president. You just can't do that. That's. Is it treasonous?
President Trump has used that language, and it's very funny because Mark Miley, he really takes this kind of righteous stand in his speeches that he's the defender of the Constitution. Well, the Constitution says the president's the commander-in-chief. It doesn't mention Joint Chiefs of Staff anywhere, and even the law doesn't put the Joint Chiefs of Staff in any command position. He's there to coordinate information amongst the various branches of the military. So he asserts how he's this defender of the Constitution, but no one elected him.
Well, I tell you what, maybe Jack Nicholson will play him in, another version of Few Good Men or something. You can't handle the truth. Maybe Jack can play Mark Milley. No, it was some of the information coming out on that's pretty stunning. All right, tell me, political science ace, what's happened to America in the last 10 years? What earthquake called Donald Trump? Have you ever seen anything like what happened here over the last year and a half? He was toast. There's no way. They've got everything against him. Put him in jail. Wear the orange jumpsuit, the handcuffs, the pert walk. And his popularity kept growing. Then he wins the popular vote, which is shocking for a Republican these days. Explain to me, sir, what's happened?
He seems to have broken through a wall here. He persevered and broke through a wall. I served in the first Trump administration in the last year, and I could see how the bureaucracy was undermining his authority. They were ignoring his orders and pretending to do them and not doing. There was a lot of sabotage going on that, it was a bureaucracy that was of questionable behavior. And then when I came back here to beautiful Stephenville, Texas to teach again, and Trump was kind of at his low point there, man, the Trump flags were already flying. It was like, Trump 2024 flags are already flying in front of all the ranches and everything. And I didn't see DeSantis flags, so I was like, okay, I still think Trump's got support here. He's got support with America, who really identifies with how he tried his best to get control of this government. And, of course, we were about a quarter of an inch away from his brain of this not taking place. So it's kind of a miraculous, amazing story that we're in this spot, that he broke through this wall. He survived the attempt on his life, and right now he's up there. The story's not done. He's trying to – the Republicans have slim majority House, slim majority Senate, slim majority of appointments to the Supreme Court. We got the president of the United States, but you still do not yet have control of the bureaucracy. And he had challenges getting the bureaucracy in the first term, and you see him coming out very strong in the second term to try to reorient this bureaucracy and get command control.
And I think he's certainly better positioned this minute than he was in 2017. However, you're talking about millions of people that probably still don't like him in Washington. How can you change that in a couple of years before midterms? You can't, can you?
Well, we see certain things. Number one, you don't need them to like you. You need them to follow the law and follow your orders.
No, I know,
So,
but they leak stuff.
They,
If you have everybody here, they leak every. I mean, I don't know. It's amazing. I think it's a divine deal that he's even here and in such position and has 50-some% approval, which he's never had, and he has this absolute unbelievable, wonderful habit of saying, here's what I'm going to do, and then he follows up and he does it. So what's the surprise from anybody? He's been saying everything he's been doing for 4 years.
Yeah, right. And so what he needs is the ability to fire people in the executive branch who don't deliver, who make excuses and don't follow the policies and don't follow the laws. You have to be able, and Trump, this is his brand going back years, you're fired, and the civil service has had all these protections where they act like they can't be fired, so they can, they can bake your orders to fail and they can ignore the law and they can subvert authority, but then they act like they're untouchable. And so what's been interesting here, you get the Schedule F has returned the ability to fire top-level policymakers within the government, but they're also making an argument that the president has a right to fire anyone within the executive branch. As the chief executive, he has a right to decide who's working in the executive branch. So something like these inspector generals, the 17 inspector generals who he terminated, and I personally know that the inspector generals can be, basically partisan actors who only go for one side and even kind of invent things to go for one side and ignore the other. He fired 17 of them with effect immediately, and the law says something about a 30-day notice, but they're prepared to make the argument that the president doesn't need to give notice when it comes to who works in the executive branch. That he's the chief executive officer, and he can decide who works in the executive branch.
Cabinet secretaries get through. Do you think all of them?
Well, I'm not ready to say all of them. You saw Pete Hegseth got through with a tie-breaking vote. So,
Right.
I mean, this is very narrow. The Republicans have a very narrow majority, and we see that some of them, may not vote for all of these nominees. So I can't tell you that all of them get through when we just saw one with a tiebreaker. I certainly know that President Trump probably wants at least a quick turnaround on these votes. Let's get as many through as possible, and if there's some that don't, let's know that sooner than later so we can get someone in. But no, the majority in the Senate is a slim one for sure.
Yeah, it is. Dr. Nathaniel Cogley, it is always my pleasure to have you on my program. I think you're a learned one. We appreciate your time from Tarleton State, Stevensville, Texas, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Stevie J.
Good to talk to you.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois. Champaign and Benham is Saturday, and the mild weather pattern continues on around here, virtually unabated, at least now into the middle part of next week, with two significant wet weather systems coming our way. One on the doorstep here for later this afternoon through tomorrow. Another one due in here for the middle and late portions of next week, but none too far away. Cold air, snow and ice as well to the north and northwest later next week. Otherwise, increasing cloudiness for the day today. Some rain breaking out this afternoon, mild up to 46. Periods of rain tonight and some areas of fog too, low down to 42. Tomorrow, cloudy, turning colder. Some rain in the morning, drizzle in the afternoon. Up north of Champaign, maybe a little wet snow mixed in towards evening time as the precip moves out. A high near 47 tomorrow with falling temperatures in the afternoon. But back into a partly sunny, mild Saturday, 44. 57 degrees on a partly sunny, lovely Sunday. We're in the 40s Monday and Tuesday. More rain ahead next Wednesday and Thursday. Daytime temperatures still in the 40s to near 50 degrees. For CVG Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
Hey, weather brought to you by the Urbana Park District. See what they're doing with their big photo competition coming out of urbanaparks.org. All right, ESPN 93.5. We're going to check your Fox Business Minute, come back with more information. Illinois plays tonight. We're going to have that for you. Illinois at Nebraska. Details, all that. Got some Brad Underwood to play for you. That'll be all coming up in a matter of moments.
I'm Lauren Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
American Airlines CEO Robert Isom is expressing deep sorrow and says he will be in Washington, D.C. today following the collision of American Flight 5342 and a Sikorsky helicopter. American Airlines care team has been activated. Isom says for now, American's priority is passengers, crew, and their families. Investors are looking at more earnings news this morning. Caterpillar's quarter was upbeat, though it anticipates full-year sales will be slightly lower than 2024. Southwest Airlines says its holiday season was stronger than forecast. It says travel demand remains strong. It was able to make a profit helped by lower fuel costs. UPS reported better than expected earnings, but is cautious about the year ahead. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jim Coselda, invested in you.
I'm Emily Campagno, host of the Fox True Crime Podcast. From 1984 to 1985, Richard Ramirez brutally murdered at least 13 people in the state of California. The nature of his heinous and satanic attacks earned him the name the Night Stalker. This week, retired San Francisco PD homicide inspector Frank Falzon joins me to discuss his work on this terrifying case and the chilling impact it left on him. Available now on foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Take charge of the years ahead with a smart, sound investment strategy and business succession plan. Busey Bank's business and wealth management experts help you envision your best future with powerful insights and proven strategies. Building business and growing wealth since 1868. Busey Bank, proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
In 1925, a small plumbing company began its journey in Urbana, Illinois. Over the decades, the business grew thanks to hard work and great people. In 1966, things changed when Dave Reichard, a veteran, met veteran Ken Asklin, who was an architectural engineering grad from Illinois. The two realized their shared vision for excellence. Their partnership took root, and in 1975, the name changed to A&R Mechanical. With Dave as president and Ken as vice president, A&R Mechanical expanded services, becoming the go-to full-service contractor for all of Central Illinois. A&R went from a plumbing-only contractor to a full-service mechanical contractor with their own sheet metal shop. Today, A&R is a plumbing, heating, ventilation service company with the same excellence in customer service as they provided nearly 100 years ago. Design, build, and maintain. That's what served A&R Mechanical for nearly 100 years. Find them at Lincoln and Kettering in Urbana or online at ar-mech.com.
Stevie J here. With Nate Evans of eXp Realty, you'll always get a stress-free sale for the most money.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to theNateEvansGroup.com.
All right, we've been talking about the terrible crash at Reagan International last night between an American Airlines that had 60 passengers and 4 crew, and then the Black Hawk helicopter that collided with that American Airlines from Wichita nonstop to Reagan in Washington. And they collided, and everybody died. So pretty bad. 3 soldiers aboard the Black Hawk and 64 total on the plane, 4 crew and 60 passengers. And apparently some members of the U.S. figure skating team with their family and coaches aboard the American Airlines. So really sad story, trying to get all the information we can. They've recovered, it's not a rescue operation, it's a recovery now. They've recovered 27 bodies, 26 from the American Airlines, 1 soldier. So it's prayers out to everybody involved in that thing. That's just horrible. Ryan Schmeltz, who you just heard moments ago, saying that they've had hearings on close calls, apparently at Reagan. I was unaware of that. So yeah, how that happens again is like, you got a Black Hawk. These guys are the best. And there's bells and whistles, Now cars tell you if you're getting close to something. These things scream at you. I don't know. Anyway, they'll do the NTSB is there, of course. They have the jurisdiction over the investigation, and they've taken the lead here on how this happened and Hopefully never again. All right, 7:25. The Fighting Illini basketball team got to Lincoln, Nebraska last night. They are ready to play the Cornhuskers. Brad Underwood talked to the media, and guess what? Tomislav Isevich is on front of the mind, but he's not ready to play.
No, we see him periodically. He's spending most of his time with the doctors and Fletch and the training staff and using all of our modalities with the hyperbaric oxygen chambers and infrareds to try to expedite the best you can this process. But this process is what it is. So, it's just it's a gradual deal.
Yeah, our 7'1", 250-pound, really, really good basketball player has mononucleosis. He used to call it the kissing disease or something. Anyway, it's one of those things that just drags on. So not going to play on in the game tonight. Coach, how do you deal with this?
You never like it as a coach. I don't. But I also have been around long enough to understand that you're going to be forced to do different things. And this team has great capabilities of doing that. We've played without two of our best players, throughout the first half of conference play. So we've had, 5-6 games now, where we haven't had our whole group. So, adjusting on the fly, it's a tribute to these guys, how a young team has been able to handle that. It shows their basketball IQ, their intelligence. But the best thing about the Northwestern game is we got our edge back, and we played with a little fire in our belly, which helps.
Yeah, just do that. But to be absolutely 100% clear, Tomislav Isevich is not playing, is not available?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay. Well, we can think about Georgie Bashonsvili and Kofi Coburn. Remember that Ohio State championship, Big Ten tournament championship game? And Georgie came in and scored 10 straight points, and Kofi got in foul trouble. You remember Georgie, after the game, had his arm around Kofi Coburn?
Amazing. It was amazing. Amazing, man. It was so great. I can't explain it. It was so great. It was amazing, man. It was amazing. It was amazing. Amazing. I mean, it was so amazing that it was amazing, It was great.
They were so happy. We got word that Terrence Shannon's coming back to have his jersey lifted to the rafters. Then yesterday, we heard about Kofi. Kofi's coming back. That'll be the UCLA game. Terrence will be the Michigan State game following that 5 days later. So you got two more jerseys up to the rafters. Wow, Coach.
It's pretty special, and it's a tribute to how hard each of those guys worked and what they have meant to me and my family and what they have meant to the program is just your heartfelt thanks and what they've done for this program is elevated to where it is now, and we often forget the struggles and remembering Io as a freshman, remembering Kofi as a freshman, and now to see the consensus All-American status that they played to, that's hard to do, and to have three of them, pretty cool. I'll take some time and reflect on that because it's 3 and 8 years. And
that's amazing, actually. That's amazing. 3 and 8 years. Talk about, of course, Io. Io was first. And then Terrence will be third, and Kofi will be second. And we're lifting that up in Brad's 8 years. All right, Illinois, Nebraska, 7:30 tonight, somewhere on TV. But I don't know. I get Peacock or Big Ten or FS1 or something. All right, the news coming up. It's Thursday. That means John Decker, Great Television's White House correspondent and national correspondent, it would jump on about the speed of the first 10, 11 days of Donald Trump and all that's been going on, the hearings. Kash Patel ought to be fireworks, as will Tulsi Gabbard. That's today. So we'll talk all about that next. ESPN 93.5.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Unfortunately, there is not a one-size-fits-all retirement plan. Finding the right plan for you depends on many factors. The good news is that we can help improve your retirement readiness, whatever your situation. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm CJ Papa. It's now a recovery effort following a mid-air collision of a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines jet moments from landing at Reagan National Airport in D.C. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
How very sad we are for American Airlines, for the United States Department of Defense, and for all Americans for the loss of life.
Officials do not believe there are any survivors. American Airlines CEO Robert Isom.
We're absolutely heartbroken for the family and loved ones of the passengers and crew members, and also for those that were on the military aircraft.
Now, the airport expected to reopen at 11 a.m. Eastern. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the plane broke up into 3 sections, ending up in the icy Potomac River. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Rantoul Elementary School getting a new addition with more than $5 million, and they've announced when it'll be finished. Pleasant Acres adding a pre-K area which will be separate from the elementary kids. Rantoul City Schools pre-K director said the program currently based out of the First United Methodist Church. One business in Champaign getting some recognition from Culture Magazine. A cheese from Prairie Fruits Farm and Creamery ranked as one of the top 60 cheeses in the world. The business award-winning cheese is called Little Bloom on the Prairie. It's a mixed blend between Jersey cow's milk from Kilgus Farmstead and Prairie's Fruits Goat's Milk. Award-winning cheese won't be available again until mid-March. Residents of Urbana increasingly concerned with issues of policing, surveillance, and safety in the city. These issues will surely play a role in the upcoming local elections. Urbana City Council now debating an ordinance that would require the Urbana Police Department to get approval from the City Council before they use any surveillance technology. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Hi, this is Troy Lands from Lands Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. With colder temperatures here, let's make sure your heating system is operating at its best. At Lands, you can join our comfort family and get exclusive savings and support to keep your heating system in tip-top shape this winter and all year round. Our plans offer tune-ups, discounts on repair, and even lifetime system enhancements. Plus, we back up our equipment with labor warranty when we install it. Find out more about our comfort family maintenance plans at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Drive in, drive out. Recycling's what Max is all about. You can make some cash and do your share. We make it really simple because we care. It doesn't matter large or small. Our friendly staff will handle it all. Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
All right, 7:34. It's weather time, brought to you by Carl. All your information is at carl.org. Here is our meteorologist, Greg Solier.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, vicinity, and the mile. Beat continues on. Matter of fact, slightly slower arriving colder air, probably about 10 days out from now, but no shortage of wet weather systems. We'll have to keep an eye on area streams and rivers, ice jamming, breaking on up as well, and the likelihood of some ponding in some of these fields, too, with probably an inch or two worth of rain spread over the next 5 to 7 days. Speaking of which, rain breaking out over the southwest and southern ends of the state. That'll be arriving around here this afternoon, increasing cloudiness up to 46, good 15 above above average south wind. Periods of rain tonight, areas of fog as winds drop back down to 42 tomorrow. Cloudy, turning cooler. Rain in the morning, a little rain and drizzle in the afternoon. Might have a little wet snow mixed in well north and northwest of the Champaign area towards evening time, with a high tomorrow at 47. Slowly falling temperatures in the afternoon as winds pick up out of the north. Clearing late tomorrow night, low down to 28. Partly sunny, mild 44 Saturday, 57 on Sunday. Dry Monday and Tuesday in the 40s, and more rain next Wednesday and Thursday. For CVJ Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
All right, so I did not get a call from John Decker, and I look at my phone, and he says, I can't join you. Well, that's because of the crash. He's got to cover the story. We are trying to see, he said maybe after 8 o'clock. But he's, the mid-air collision between the Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines commuter jet. If you missed that, it happened about 8:48 last night. No survivors, 67 presumed dead. 3 soldiers and 64 crew and passenger on the American Airlines. So we're tracking all the information. The water's 35 degrees in the Potomac outside of Reagan International. The airport's been closed. They're reopening the airport at 11 Eastern time this morning. That's what I know about that at this time. So we'll see. I have not heard back from John if he can join us or not at the 9:08 Eastern, 8:08 our time. I do have returning today the Did You Know segment with Nathaniel Son. He'll be up in about 10 or 15 minutes. So we'll get to that. Glad to have him back. He was up a little bit last night. Their new baby, Josephine, is doing wonderfully. Janet's been up there this week, and I think I'm going to go get to see her today. Exciting. See my wife and my granddaughter. So it's been a whirlwind of wonderful. Anyway, Nathaniel's Son coming up. I do have some things I have not gotten to yet that I do want to get to. You remember Nicole Shanahan? She was the vice presidential candidate with RFK Jr., Robert Kennedy Jr., for president. She was going to be the vice president. And she's, she's a liberal. The thing that I like about these hearings, RFK and Tulsi Gabbard, it expands a Republican tent. But they essentially are people without a home. They were Democrats, right? The Kennedys? Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat congresswoman from Hawaii, a soldier. But now that she left the Democratic Party, joined the Republicans, I think RFK Jr. is still Democrat, but I mean, they're going with Trump, and you can't do that, I guess. The Democrats don't like him. They pounded on RFK Jr. yesterday. I mean, they just pounded. Elizabeth Warren was just shouting at him. And it goes to, you find out that it's just so weird how everything kind of has flipped, where now the Democrats appear to be big pharma. I mean, Elizabeth Warren has received $1.2 million. The minority leader on that particular committee, was it Ron Wyden? Anyway, he got $1.2 million from big pharma. So now that you're saying, you're telling Robert Kennedy Jr., whose voice is really difficult, but he's had to deal with that a long, long time. Anyway, he said, it sounds like Senator Warren, you're telling me not to sue the farm. No, I am not. I am not. Well, it looks like she's been getting a lot of money. Now, if you get a lot of money from particular interest, you're gonna lean their way. No matter what you say, you just will. It's just money. A lot of money helps you get reelected and all that other stuff. Anyway, this Nicole Shanahan just sent, I don't know if this has any effect or it makes the senators mad, but she had some interesting things to say on X.
So this hasn't been widely reported, but in 2020, I cut large checks to Chuck Schumer to help Democrats flip 2 Senate seats in Georgia from red to blue.
Okay, so she helped Ossoff and Warnock get their seats as senators in the great state of Georgia. She gave Chuck Schumer money. She's a billionaire. Nicole Shanahan's worth like $1.5–2 billion. And she went on.
The 2 candidates I helped elect, Senator Raphael Warnock and Senator John Ossoff. Please know I will be watching your votes very closely. I will make it my personal mission that you lose your seats in the Senate if you vote against the future health of America's children. And more than that, I also want to say to Senators Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, Bill Cassidy, Tom Tillis, James Lankford, Cory Booker, John Fetterman, Bernie Sanders, and Catherine Cortez Masto, this is a bipartisan message, and it comes directly from me. While Bobby may be willing to play nice, I won't. If you vote against him, I will personally fund challengers to primary you in your next election, and I will enlist hundreds of thousands to join me. Big Pharma and Big Ag have exploited us for far too long. It ends now. You're either on the side of transparency and accountability, or you are standing in the way. The choice is yours. Please.
Okay, so there you have it. Does that scare these senators? They're probably big enough egos to probably slough it off, but inside you're going, I don't need that. I don't want a billionaire with hundreds of thousands, and they do have that kind of an army, because I think RFK Jr. helped Donald Trump get the votes. I really do. I think it really helped Trump. There's no question. And now they're on his team. And so here comes a billionaire saying, I'm primarying you. And so if you're on the fence, you're going to lean confirming RFK. Again, human nature. These people just want to stay. They don't need the noise of a billionaire coming out after primarying them with energy and people holding signs. And if you saw any of the hearing with RFK, I mean, they had people in there that were just cheering. You're not supposed to. You know, when Pete Hegseth was there, a bunch of Army people, and they said, don't be disruptive, and they were quiet and they followed the rules. These folks, they were behind RFK. We'll see. I love the fact that it expands the acceptance of the Republican Party. Yes, there's a big enough tent for a lot of different views. That's great. And so if they don't get confirmed, if RFK, and I think he will, but yes, it's possible he won't. First of all, the president can send everybody home. The president can say, okay, go on home, and he'll do a recess appointment. He can do that. That'll tick people off, but he certainly can do that. John Decker says yes, he'll call after 9 this morning, after 8 o'clock this morning. John Decker, who's normally on at this time on Thursdays, obviously busy news morning with plane collision. So he says yes, he's going to probably had to do a lot of reports. They have like 150 TV stations on Gray Television's network. So he does a lot of TV, for the inauguration. What did he do? 50 hits, all the different markets that they're in. So anyway, I don't know if this is going to scare anybody of the senators that vote or don't vote for RFK, but Tulsi Gabbard apparently is in peril. Probably doesn't have the votes yet. But again, there's one where she doesn't have a home with the Democrats. They don't like her anymore. She left. How dare you? And some Republicans are leery of her. So I hope they both get in. Hope they all get in. I think the president deserves that. I do believe he has a mandate. I believe you have to give him his cabinet. And he might do a recess appointment if he doesn't. He can't get the votes. Okay, Donald Trump says you got to go back to work or you're going to be fired, man.
Because as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working. They're not very productive. And it's unfair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government. They're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed.
Okay. So what do you think of that? Should they be fired if they don't show up to work? These are federal workers. And listen, a lot of people I know, a lot of people a lot of people get to work at home, at least some. And if you're really good, you can get a lot done. Depends on your job. I think the great people working together in an office, I think, is very healthy. I think you can get great synergy. I think it really is a good thing. Well, there's some jobs you can certainly do remotely. But he says go back to work or you're all fired. You can always chime in on the Fisher National Bank text line, 217-359-2255. The people out there are just aghast. I mean, you get used to that lifestyle. What are you going to do with your kiddos? Well, you can always bring up the fact that everybody else has to figure it out, right? It's very expensive. I understand all that. But Yeah, he wants them to go back. Listen, they want to cut the workforce because it'll save a lot of money, and they think there's too many people working in government. Something like 3 million people, I think, have federal jobs. So, I mean, the goal is that they cut it 10 or 20%. And would we miss our government with 10 or 20% fewer? Probably not, but somebody's got to pick it up, right? I mean, presumably, they all have a full day. Maybe they don't. But you're going to have to do Bob's job because he got laid off. He wouldn't come back. And, yeah, so we'll see what happens. But if they're not back by, what did he say, February 6th, then they're terminated. Didn't Ronald Reagan do that with air traffic control? Ordered them back to work or they'd be terminated. I think that worked out for Ronald Reagan. We'll see what happens here. And there's like 9,000 empty federal buildings. So if we don't have workers, can we at least sell them? Can't you make a lot of money on these buildings? Sell them. All right, quarter till. Did you know? Coming up about 5 minutes. John Decker after 8. Tim, our pitmaster, after 8:30 this morning. I am Stevie J. Diane Ducey, as you know, is off the rest of the week. ESPN 93.5. Will Riley stood at the practice facility at Ubben talking to some reporters. The young kid who is playing up, should be a senior in high school. Will Riley.
Oh, it's been great. The gym's been great. It's been active. We had a good practice the other day, and it's been good.
When Brad goes in trying to ignite the edge again in practice, what's that like from your vantage point?
It was great. I loved it. The environment was great with the practice. It was expected coming off the loss, so we knew what it was going to be like, and it's been good so far.
How do you personally respond to that when Brad's trying to kind of turn the needle a little bit there?
It's good. It fuels the fire in me, and it makes all of us play with energy, high energy, and yeah.
Young Will Riley, Illinois is favored not by much tonight. It's Illinois-Nebraska in Lincoln, and we are a 2.5-point favorite. And I think Nebraska's lost 6 in a row, but they're still awfully good at home. And it's one of these games without Tomislav Isevic, who's out again because of mono. No word if he's back anytime soon. Nobody knows. I think Tomislav is doing better, but when can he start running up and down the court and all that stuff? I don't know. We play Ohio State. After tonight, we play Ohio State noon on Sunday. And it'll be the first time the CBS national camera will be in my house since 2011. You can believe that. CBS in Champaign at then Assembly Hall, 2011. Can't believe they missed Kofi and Io and all of that. We had some good years. Trent Frazier, and CBS wasn't here on a Sunday. Anyway, we get CBS noon Sunday. It's Ohio State. Good news, there's no real big man tonight in Nebraska. There's no real big man in Ohio State, and there's no real big man at Rutgers next week when we go. So you got that going for you. And isn't it great that you can develop Merez Johnson Jr.? Because he's getting better because he's going to get to play more. And you still got Kasparis Jakajovic. This is the last and only time you're going to see this guy. And after Sunday's game at noon, we have 4 home games left. Can you believe that? 4? Yeah. So we play home game at Nebraska tonight, Ohio State home Sunday. And then all you got left, UCLA, Michigan State, Iowa, Purdue. That's it. And then, of course, everything pointing to March. And the whole season depends on March. You work for 6 months, and the only thing that matters is win in March. Doesn't seem fair. 7:48. Did you know? Coming up. Dedicated Diesel, home of the Dixie Chopper. Still got Gail Frerich's used Dixie Chopper laying around the yard there? Or?
Yeah, I believe Gail's is still there. It is a great machine, a big classic. And then we have a couple more really good used models I'd like to get rid of before the snow's gone. But now's the time to check out some great deals while your grass is covered up. I know most people aren't thinking about mowing yet, but this is the time that the prices are going to be the lowest.
How can people reach Tim Onstadt?
They can get me at TIMO@GFTLOG.com and call the office at 765-793-7131. Get a hold of Andy. The shop is 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. 217-328-0562, or Dedicated Equipment on Facebook.
You're the man. Thank you so much, Tim. Always a pleasure. Thanks,
you. Guys.
You bet.
Illinois basketball season is underway. Single game tickets to see your Fighting Illini at State Farm Center are on sale now at fightingillini.com. Great seats are still available. Lock in your tickets for big games against Big Ten opponents before they're gone. Don't miss your chance to see the winningest team in the Big Ten Conference over the last 5 years. Be part of the atmosphere and get tickets at fightingillini.com.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Are you tired of shivering in the winter? Look no further than your local heroes at ABC Heating and Air Conditioning. Hi, this is Gina inviting you to give us a call at 217-352-5400 to book your appointment to make sure your furnaces run safely and efficiently this winter. We've been proudly locally owned and operated and have been serving our community for over 50 years. ABC, always be comfortable. Call me 217-352-5400 to book your appointment today or go to abcheatingandac.com.
All right, again, John Decker, who's busy with the press conference from Washington this morning, will jump on the radio with us in about 15 minutes. Nathaniel's son has jumped back on the radio with his life completely changed for the better. How are you?
Hey, Dad. I'm good. I don't think Nathaniel Dad is a thing, but I guess that'd be a fitting time to roll it out.
And it'd probably be too difficult or arduous to say Nathaniel, son / dad. That doesn't ring. It doesn't kind of roll. Anyway, so tell me about your wife, Allison, and your daughter, Josephine. How is it going?
Everybody's doing really well. We're very fortunate. Josephine was born just over 2 weeks ago on the 14th. So we are in the thick of newborn life. And that, for anyone who's a parent knows that's every 2 to 3 hours sleep, diaper change, and we are breastfeeding, and so that is going, and that's our rhythm in life. And I tell you, I have this newfound respect for parents and how you manage everything that we do in life and raise kids on top of it. Or maybe it's the other way around, raise kids and then do all of life.
She is a beautiful...
but it truly has been a blessing, just in an incredible way to get to do this.
She's such a beautiful little girl. And what really astounded me is Mama is up there, Janet's up there helping this week a little bit, and Janet sent me some little videos. It looks after 7 days, it looks like she became this aware, alert, awake little girl, and she's looking at you. She knows her daddy, she knows her grandmama, she knows her mama. What happened?
I don't know, but it's... I guess a taste into parenting that, we're going to do what we can to just give her a great life and great childhood. But then, she's just going to do things like amaze us, and she's just very observant, like you said.
Well,
so
congratulations.
It's cool.
So awesome. We're so excited, so thankful. All right, the program is called Did You Know? Nathaniel's son finds information you did not know. What are you talking about today?
Well, yeah, this morning we're going to see if anyone caught on to this one. So we've had a lot of news recently from Washington, D.C. We had the inauguration and just generally a lot of politics and news coming from that portion of our country over the past few months. And many of us may know that the great symbol of our nation, the bald eagle, stands for liberty, freedom, and strength. Well, we've been around for more than 248 years now, but did you know that bald eagle has only been our national bird for 37 days. On December 24th, Congress passed and Joe Biden signed into law the Bald Eagle Bill, which officially made the bald eagle the national bird of the United States of America. Not that it'll change anything functionally. I don't think any of our emblems or flags will change. But now our country has a national bird that is also domestic to North America. So eagles are found around the globe, but the bald eagle is actually only found domestically in the United States of America, North America.
Huh. Didn't know that. The white head. I thought that bald in Old English meant white, which is why it's on.
Yeah.
They would call it bald. You think that's right? I'm not sure, but
I think it is. Yeah, you've said that before. No,
Yeah.
I think you're correct on that.
yeah. Well,
But it is only found, domestically here in North America. So I think that's part of why the founding fathers liked, the symbol of strength of an eagle, and then made it the symbol of our nation.
Ben Franklin, I think, was the proponent of the turkey as kind of our.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And he couldn't certainly eat that for Thanksgiving if he's nationally.
Well, you've seen bald eagles too at Clinton Lake.
Yeah, no, I know. We found a nest 150 feet up or something, and we watched them grow up. Little eaglets, they have dark heads, and then they grow the white later, I guess. So we watched Daddy and Mommy training them on how to get fish in the water. It's amazing. It really was fun to watch that. And
they're just amazing birds. I mean, when you see them fly, majestic is really the perfect word.
You remember Alaska? The eagles were kind of like squirrels are around here. I mean, they were everywhere. The eagles were just there in Alaska, set on light posts and everything. Another eagle. Oh yeah, another eagle. It's really cool. I love that bird.
No, I know. And one of the coolest experiences, real quick, that we had when me and the triplets were backpacking in British Columbia, just a little south of Alaska. We were up on a mountain, and I'll never forget, we looked down, and we're, I don't know, a few thousand feet up, and it's a clear day, and we see this bald eagle flying below us.
Wow.
And it was the only time in my life I've ever seen a bald eagle flying below us. It was incredible. Never forget that perspective.
So cool. Nathaniel's son, congratulations, Dad. It's awesome. We're so excited.
Thank you. Thanks, Grandpa.
We'll see you a little later today.
All right. Yeah,
thanks you. Nathaniel's son in Chicago, ESPN 93.5. Okay, the news is coming up. Then we get to play the theme, the John Decker theme, far more important than the actual program. Many are addicted to the theme. And we are very careful when we play the theme, only when John is on, of course. All right, the news, top of the hour. Get the very latest on what we know about this tragic collision. How'd that happen? Were they training? There's something on Facebook. We don't know that with Black Hawk guys. Anyway, we don't know. We're going to find out. We'll find out exactly what happened. The CEO of American Airlines seemed to intimate that Black Hawk came in their path. So again, all I saw was the ball of fire and just awful. 67 presumed all dead. There's no survivors. There's recovery at this point. The count of bodies recovered at this point is 27, and I think the total is 67. 3 soldiers, 67 on American Airlines, 60 passengers, 4 of the crew. So anyway, prayers are fervent for those poor families that had some figure skaters on board after a championship in Wichita. They'd flown from Wichita to Reagan International was where they were going to go, and the airport's been shut since 9 last night. They're going to try and reopen at 11 this morning. All right, news will be next. A whole bunch coming up in our 8 o'clock hour. I'm Stevie J. Glad you're listening. This is Thursday. It is January 30. One more day. February is a day after tomorrow, if you can believe it. Unbelievable how quickly this year is going already. Tim, talk to me about Gale Forex Trucking. Any news?
A couple of new drivers on board that joined the team, and I think I may have one open spot left, maybe 2. And we can always buy more trucks if they're good drivers. But it's been a challenge, but everybody has stayed safe, and I appreciate that. We've got a great group of guys that know that they have to safely service the customers, and they're doing that.
Describe the kind of driver you would love to hire.
Somebody that wants to work, knows the importance of being on time and servicing the customer, but also enjoys their quality home time with their family. It's difficult for truck drivers that are stuck out on the road for weeks at a time, so we just don't do that to them. We want them to have that quality time, rest their brain, rest their body, be with their family. That's real important to us.
How can people reach the Tim Onstock?
They can get me at TIMO@GFTLOG.com.
Our friendly sales team help you find Just the right appliance, just the right price.
I'm Paul Reekin, and you know my dad, Dennis, for the famous
Wow.
Yeah, that's the one. That
Wow
is a Central Illinois tradition, decades in the making. It's our award-winning staff that puts the
Wow
in Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We have in-house service, in-house appliance installation, a knowledgeable sales staff that will make sure you get the guaranteed best deal on your next appliance purchase. Oh, and let's not forget, a jingle that's been around for decades. Just like the quality service we provide, I'll make sure it's here for decades to come. We're the store that makes you say,
Wow.
We stand behind what we sell, we offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is a Fox News alert. They found no survivors in the Potomac River and don't expect to. I'm Dave Anthony. The morning after an American Airlines regional jet about to land at the Reagan National Airport collided with the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter in a fiery crash that sent both into the water.
These responders found extremely frigid conditions. They found heavy wind. They found ice on the water, and they're operated all night in those conditions.
Washington, D.C. Fire Chief John Donnelly says it's gone from a rescue to recovery mission. They found one of the 3 soldiers from the helicopter, 27 of the 64 people on the plane.
The fuselage of the American Airlines plane was inverted. It's been located in 3 different sections.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says it was a clear night. Both the plane and helicopter were on standard flight paths. They don't know what went wrong yet.
Sean Duffy is not saying whether communication played a factor in terms of who's communicating with what and was there miscommunication as to this plane coming in. And we do know that the helicopter pilot did know there was a plane in the area on final approach.
Fox Business Network's Edward Lawrence at Reagan National Airport. American Airlines CEO Robert Isom says,
We're absolutely heartbroken for the family and loved ones of the passengers and crew members, and also for those that were on the military aircraft.
The plane was coming in from Wichita, Kansas. Some of the passengers were from the U.S. figure skating team. In a half hour, Kash Patel goes under scrutiny, the Trump nominee to be FBI director. Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, a Republican, supports him, telling Fox,
only 41% of the people have confidence in the FBI, and that means that the public is irritated because the FBI has been used as a political instrument.
Tulsi Gabbard will also face tough questions at another Senate hearing as Director of National Intelligence nominee. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has a second hearing to spar with senators again in line to lead Health and Human Services. America's listening to Fox News.
Identity Theft Awareness Week is here. There's a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second and will fix identity theft guaranteed or your money back. Plus, plans include the $1 Million Protection Package with up to $3 million in coverage for the most comprehensive plan. Take control of your identity with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com. Show the coupon at the pharmacy and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
President Trump has a place, he says, by executive order he plans to send some of the illegal immigrants arrested in raids nationwide who've committed violent crimes. Guantanamo, the same place terror suspects have been held for more than 20 years. Now, the president said that when signing his first bill since returning to the White House.
Surrounded by family members of the legislation's namesake, President Trump signed the Laken-Riley Act into law.
This is something that has brought Democrats and Republicans together. That's not easy to do. Laken did it.
The Laken-Riley Act is named for a 22-year-old Georgia nursing student killed last year by a Venezuelan man in the U.S. illegally. He had been arrested for theft but not detained. The legislation requires ICE to detain and deport undocumented immigrants accused of theft, shoplifting, and violent crimes. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
8 more hostages kidnapped in the Hamas 2023 terror attack that triggered the war in Gaza were set free today an Israeli soldier, 2 Israeli civilians, and 5 citizens from Thailand as part of the ceasefire agreement between Hamas and Israel, which will release more Palestinian prisoners. We got news on the economy this morning, showing slower GDP growth in the final 3 months of last year.
2.3%. The estimate was for 2.6%, and this is much weaker than the third quarter of 2024. That read was 3.1%. So we are seeing a pullback in these GDP numbers.
That's Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni. We also got an unemployment update showing fewer first-time jobless claims last week, a 7% drop to 207,000. And the number of Americans continuing to collect benefits also declined by 42,000 to 1.85 million. That's down from the week before when the continuing claims were at the highest level since November 2021. On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed before the opening bell this hour, down for the Dow, up for the NASDAQ. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. The jury could begin deliberating in Michael Madigan's landmark corruption trial. Deliberations will start after prosecutors present a rebuttal argument. Michael McClain delivered his closing arguments on Tuesday. Search underway to find a woman who went missing in Champaign. Police say Brittany Shervisky was last seen July 24th of last year. The 35-year-old was reported missing last week. Anyone with information, contact Champaign police. Illinois Republicans suing over the state's legislative map. House GOP members filed a lawsuit asking the state Supreme Court to declare the Democratic mapping effort an unconstitutional political gerrymandering. Suit claims the boundaries were drawn to give Democrats supermajorities in the state House and Senate. Republicans argue the legislative boundaries enacted into the state law in 2021 violate the state's constitution mandate that elections be free and equal. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Thank you, Jim Miller. ESPN 93.5. John Decker standing by. Our meteorologist is Greg Solier, extraordinarily good at what he does in meteorology.
Thank you.
Pleasure, sir. Well, we got mild, we got rain. We got pretty doggone good weather for this time of year, sir.
Yeah, we certainly do, and already off and running at 33 at Willard and Savoy, 31 Danville, 28 at Rantoula, 31 at Bloomington. Normal. These are pretty close to what you expect in the afternoon hours for the next to last day in January. Yeah, some rain breaking out already down towards Jackson, Illinois, east of St. Louis, maybe around the Centralia area, a couple of showers west of St. Louis, and then a pretty broad area of rain and some moderate heavy rainfall where flood watches are in effect across the lower Ohio portions of Illinois and Kentucky, Ohio Valley, that is, and then back into parts of central Texas. There'll be some 4 and 5 inch totals there and probably some rougher weather this afternoon. Into eastern Texas, we'll be into that pretty good soaking variety rains later on tonight and for a time tomorrow morning. Remember, thawing streams and rivers, softening grounds, a lot of ice in them and a lot of moisture in these grounds, so some ponding may work into some areas of our part of the Corn Belt and with a system later next week as well. With the cold air returning is a little slower to evolve, but there's a lot of winter still in the maps and charts as we move on through the month of February. Heading towards an afternoon high today across the area. Pretty delightful, and the mild pattern again to continue on until further notice. We'll top out at about 46. Rain in spots this afternoon. Widespread rains tonight through tomorrow morning. Areas of fog. 42 tonight, 47 tomorrow, but the readings will fall in the afternoon. Last of the rain up towards the Kankakee could have a little wet snow mixed in tomorrow evening of no accumulation. Otherwise, we clear it off in spots late tomorrow night and a low down to 28. Partly sunny Saturday afternoon, 44. 57 I typed here on Sunday. We're still into the 40s for Monday and Tuesday, and another push at 45 to 50 degree weather, and another push of more rain next Wednesday and Thursday. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Greg. We're very happy and honored every Thursday at 7:35 to welcome John Decker, Gray Television's White House correspondent, national correspondent, with the breaking news this morning. John could not be there half an hour ago, but now, John Decker. I want to talk to John Decker. He is the one we know. I want to talk to John Decker. He's at the White House in press room.
John Decker.
Yes, even children in combines are now singing their favorite song.
John Decker.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gray Television's White House correspondent, national correspondent, very busy man this morning, John Decker. Holy cow. Describe what you've done this morning already.
Well, it's just been a busy day. As you know, there was a horrific plane crash that happened here in Washington, D.C. last evening. A passenger plane from American Airlines en route to D.C. from Wichita collided with a military helicopter, and it's just so sad. Everybody on board, both the helicopter and the plane, are passed away, and so just everything associated with that. There's been briefings this morning as it relates to that. I don't normally cover those types of stories, but that's not something that happens often here in the nation's capital.
No, apparently there have been hearings on close calls. I was unaware of that, but our Fox News guy Ryan Schmeltz had said that there had been hearings about why is that so close. I don't know. I know helicopters flying around Reagan is pretty normal for training and things.
Yeah,
but
that is normal.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, pleasure having you on, John Decker. Okay, so we'll go right to the RFK hearing yesterday. Pretty feisty from Elizabeth Warren. He says, it sounds like you don't want me to sue. I am not. Whoa. Wow. So
Yeah.
what's your take on this one, particularly RFK?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good feel for it. As you know, as it relates to what happened last Friday night when you had the now defense secretary being confirmed, it took the vice president to break a 50-50 tie. And I think that's potentially what we're looking at as it relates to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He could make it, but maybe, there'll be a fourth Republican, if indeed three Republicans vote against him, that joins with Democrats and blocks his nomination. But it was contentious, as you point out, Stevie, yesterday, over the course of the day. And today's day two. It's not done yet. He's still going to take some withering questions from senators on the committee that will pass judgment on his nomination.
Isn't that amazing, though? I mean, he at some point in his life, Kennedy was always a hero for the Democrats, and now look at what's happened here.
Right.
And then Tulsi Gabbard, they don't really have a home anymore because you dissed me. You left us and said Beth. Where does Tulsi Gabbard go? Because the Republicans are a little leery. The Democrats can't stand that traitor.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I think every Democrat likely is against Tulsi Gabbard. And then for national security hawks, they're concerned about her record when she was a U.S. Congresswoman, positions that she took, the visit that she took to meet with Bashar al-Assad of Syria. So she's going to get some tough questions, as will another nominee for Donald Trump. That's Kash Patel to be the FBI director. So it's a busy week on the other side of Pennsylvania Avenue for those confirmation hearings, and we'll see how each of these three controversial nominees fare. It's a 53-47 majority that Republicans have, Stevie. If every Republican is unified, then obviously they'll get through. But we saw with at least the Defense Department nominee, now the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, it took the vice president to break that tie.
I played Nicole Shanahan, who was Robert Kennedy's vice presidential candidate. I played her clip. I got my eyes on you. I helped the Democrats get elected in Georgia. I'm coming after you, my 100,000. I understand that the senators will go, yeah, right. However, you'd rather not have that against you in a primary.
Yeah, you wouldn't. There still needs to be an opponent, so you just can't run against money. You have to run against an actual opponent. So, I don't know if that veiled threat coming from RFK Jr.'s former running mate makes a difference in terms of how individual senators vote. But who knows? Someone perhaps looking over their shoulder sees a potential primary challenger if indeed they vote. But to me, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not going to predict how that one turns out. I think of all the nominees, I mentioned this before, I think Tulsi Gabbard has the toughest road in terms of winning confirmation.
Couldn't the president tell everybody to go home and do a recess appointment?
He could. I think that Senator Thune, he's the majority leader, has in conversations told the president, that's just not a good idea. Let's try to get everybody confirmed. We can do it, I think, for the most part, in the sense that it's 53-47. I don't think that President Trump wants to go down that road. But we'll have to wait and see. If some of his nominees don't make it, and if he doesn't have a plan B, you could be looking at a recess appointment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like the standpoint of, gosh, it feels like a team of rivals almost with some of the people he's nominated, particularly Gabbard and RFK Jr. I like the tent being bigger personally. I'd like to see him get in just because I think we can stand other opinions. I think that's fine.
Yeah, well, I think that Donald Trump feels very comfortable in his position for his second term. And, I think that's one of the reasons why he chose the people that he chose to serve in his cabinet. And you also saw some of those folks who ran against him, having prominent spots at his swearing in, at his inauguration, like Vivek Ramaswamy, and he's no longer part of DOGE. He's dropped out of that because he's going to focus on a race for governor of his home state of Ohio. But it is an interesting mix of people that President Trump has on his team surrounding him, advocating for his legislative agenda.
And I mentioned how the president had said, if you don't go back by whatever that was, February 6th, then you're all terminated. Becky had texted in. She says, I have a different perspective. Says, my son and daughter-in-law live in South Carolina, both work from home for the VA. They take their daughter to daycare. My son was just hired at the end of 24. If they have to return in person, it's 2 hours each way. So there's another angle, but I think the president says I think they're trying to get 20% to quit, aren't they?
I don't know the figure. And, I think that, that certainly they would, in a perfect world, either like to not replace the people that decide to take the government up on that buyout offer, or potentially, insert people that are, more friendly to this administration. So we'll have to see how that plays itself out as we get closer to that February the 6th deadline.
I mean, getting, I guess, like-minded people isn't unusual, correct? It's not, each administration probably shoots for some of that, right?
Well, they do for the political appointees, for, civil service positions. For those types of positions, you shouldn't be asked, who you voted for or anything of the sort. It's just, competent people that you want in roles that are critical to making agencies and departments run.
Okay, John Decker, just a few more minutes, kind of him to fit us in this morning with all that's going on in Washington. So tell me what it's like in the very crowded. Did you put on deodorant at the press room today? I mean, it's a different.
I know that. I asked my photographer friends. They told me that it wasn't good for them in close quarters.
Yeah, right.
For me, I was very fortunate. The first and only press briefing that the new White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, had. She called on me. I asked her 2 questions. I shared that with you, Stevie.
Well, she called on you and said, John, okay, let's go.
She did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
hey,
she called on me by name.
CL, thank you, CL. Thank you, CL. I'll call you later. Is it Carolyn or Caroline?
It's Caroline. It's Caroline
Okay.
with a K.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay, so she called on you,
Caroline
but you look crowded. Looked like get out of my elbow space, man.
It was crowded. It was packed, but I had a good place for asking a question to Caroline. And look, I think that it's going to be like that for the foreseeable future. Really packed briefing. Anytime there is a briefing, when asked the question, she did not indicate that she would do a briefing every day. But for those days in which she holds a press briefing, I would expect exactly what you saw on day one with the number of people in that briefing room.
I think it's impressive if you can walk in there without a ton of things. Like I know the previous had a huge notebook, but I think that Caroline appears to. First of all, Donald Trump meets the media about 8 times a day, so everybody kind of knows what's happening. How deep can you go on questions? Would you kind of know everything? This is so different than it's been.
Well, it's really interesting. I'll tell you the way I view it now. I view it this way, just because President Trump does take questions so often. I think to myself, do I ask Caroline that question, or do I hold on to that question for when I have an opportunity with President Trump? I mean, that's really what I think about. Maybe others think the same way, but that's what I thought in Donald Trump's first term. I'm going to save my really, good question for the president when I see him in the Oval Office or when I see him in the Roosevelt Room. And, that's worked out well. And I'll be on pool. I'll be in the pool rotation next week. And, hopefully there'll be an opportunity for me to ask some questions to the president at that time.
But you have the confidence that you can get those in because he is so accessible.
Well, that's right. He knows me. He knows me by name. So that is helpful. There's no doubt about it. And I feel I'm in a good place, and great television is in a good place as it relates to this new administration. and the type of access that we will have.
Okay. All right. Do you have any idea of day to day what you're doing? I know your guys plotted out for you, but things change, and I don't know how you keep up.
Yeah, things change. So yesterday morning, added to the schedule, the bill signing of the Lake and Riley Act.
Yeah.
I was in the East Room for that. I think I sent you some pictures of that on TV. And that was just added to the schedule in the morning. So that's an example of how, you might be pushed in a certain direction just based upon what's added to the schedule at the last moment.
And you can always get in. You always have that, because I don't think it fits everybody, right?
It doesn't, no. So there's a process. You submit an RSVP, but then the White House, based upon all the RSVPs that they receive, they determine, okay, who makes the cut, so to speak. And I made the cut.
Well, I think
be in there.
GRAY TV has got more clout than MSNBC. So
no, you're right about that. If I didn't share this with you, share it with your audience, TV. I think I did share it with you, actually. The news organizations that did not get called on.
Saw that.
In the first White House press briefing, it's pretty remarkable. The Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, MSNBC, BBC, PBS, the LA Times, all did not get a question at that first White House press briefing.
And you got two. That's what I'm talking about.
And I got
That's
two.
what I'm talking about.
That's
Listen, we got to tell Gray TV that 60 Minutes is after you. See what we can get done.
Yeah,
here.
there you go.
You would be
too good.
You would be quite good on 60 Minutes. You'd bring a real journalistic skill to that thing, so you'd be great.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
as your agent,
Yes.
I'll be in touch. I'll get some more.
As my agent. There you go, TV.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Did you see?
Look,
Yeah, go ahead.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I saw Rafael Nadal. I don't know what video this is from, where he hit a little girl in the face and then went and kissed her. Did you? Maybe this is really old, but it was on X. She smacked the ball right on her face, and she was brave and didn't really react. And he went up and kissed her and said, "I'm so sorry."
That's so.
What a cool guy, Rafael.
Very
Great.
cool guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, just speaking, I know this is not big news in the tennis world, but the U.S. Open tennis tournament has now been expanded to 15 days. It will start on a Sunday this year.
Wow.
So that's some news in the tennis world.
That's probably what we need for the Super Bowl. 15 days. Let's go.
Oh, Super Bowl Sunday. Oh, man, Stevie, I can't wait for that. My Philadelphia Eagles make it to the Super Bowl, second time in 3 years, rematch. But I'm nervous because, let's face it, Mahomes, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's so good. He's just such a great quarterback.
I
It's
have
amazing.
no idea how you stop him. I have no idea. I
don't know.
was kind of rooting for Buffalo because I like Josh Allen a lot. And I just
Sure, I
said
do too.
the only way this is going to happen is he's got to drop the ball a bunch. And he dropped it once, and they scored a touchdown on it. But Mahomes, under pressure, under duress, is just as good as I've ever seen. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
he
really is, and he steps it up for the playoffs. I mean, he's great during the regular season. Don't get me wrong, but he really steps it up, and statistics bear that out. The amount of rushing yards that he gains during the playoffs is higher than a number of rushing yards he gains during the regular season. His average is up. Everything's up, and all the players, I think, are motivated because they have Mahomes back there in the pocket, or sometimes not in the pocket. So they're a phenomenal team, but the Eagles also have a lot of weapons on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. And you see the point spread; it's essentially a toss-up. If you look at the points.
And I wouldn't be shocked at all. Philadelphia's defense is number one, and my strategy as a coach would say, defense, you the man, and offense, give it to Saquon, and we're good. Okay, just hand it off to Saquon Barkley. Man.
Yeah. He's so
unbelievable.
Good. It's out of control.
Unbelievable. What a year. What a year he's had. It'll be a great
what
Super Bowl.
What a year.
What a great.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a real quick question. I got to ask you this question. So, the rushing record in the NFL, it's set by, the person who holds that record is set by former running back for the LA Rams, if I'm not mistaken, Eric Dickerson, right?
Yep.
But he does it in 16 games. And to me, O.J. Simpson running for 2,003 yards in 14 games is just more impressive, and yet he doesn't have the record. If you add more games, it just changes, the dynamic of looking at that record.
I think so. I mean, if you have more opportunities, you're going to have more points, right? I mean, that's just how it works. But I don't know how you do that with records like that, but you get more games, you're going to get more yards, particularly if you get 150 a game. Man.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know
it's just not equal. There's no question. You got to almost average it out and see what you get a game or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and not to knock any of these players. They're just tremendous athletes, Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, but, and just looking at the records themselves and what O.J. Simpson did, running for 2,003 yards in 14 games, I think is just incredibly impressive.
No question about it. Finally, you just hit a trigger. We played in the Big Ten during the COVID, and Illinois finished 16-4. We got all of our games in. Michigan finished 14-3, and the only head-to-head we beat them by 20-plus points.
Yeah.
And the Big Ten commissioner gave the outright title to Michigan because percentage-wise, a couple of hundredths ahead of that was. I'm still sore about that. I think that's ridiculous.
I'd be sore about that.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, Commissioner.
Come on, man. And that was Kevin Warren, who's now head of the Chicago Bears. He took another job. So.
Yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, I have to look this up. I feel like he's a Penn grad.
Maybe.
As I am. I have to look that up.
Yeah, but you are way more prominent than him, for sure. Come on,
sure.
Man.
Whatever you say. Whatever you say.
Listen, keep up your fine work, John Decker. People can find you at GrayTV.tv, and they can look up your stories, and all the stuff you're doing is remarkable. And all the good coverage. Great stuff.
I'll keep it up, Stevie. Keep asking some good questions in the briefing room and to President Trump, when I have that opportunity as well. And we will talk next Thursday, regular time next Thursday.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. John Decker, Great Television's White House correspondent, national correspondent. Always a pleasure. It is 8:25.
I'm Jerry Willis, and this is the Fox Business Report. The economy expanded at a slower than expected pace at the end of last year, though Americans continued to spend. The gross domestic product rose 2.3% in the fourth quarter. Economists were anticipating a 2.5% increase. Even though that number was weaker than forecast, consumer spending rose 4.2% in the quarter. There were fewer people filing for unemployment benefits last week. New claims declined by 16,000 to 207,000. Continuing claims, those remaining on benefits, declined by 42,000 to 1.85 million. The Federal Reserve said yesterday it will be following economic reports as it decides whether to cut interest rates. The Fed paused yesterday. This morning, the European Central Bank lowered its key interest rate by 0.25%. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda. Invested in you.
As President Donald Trump begins his second term.
Promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises.
Stick with the Fox News Rundown as history is made during his first 100 days. Whether it impacts your family, your wallet, or the world, our team of journalists will give you the sharp analysis and perspective you expect from Fox News. The Fox News Rundown, the first 100 days. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
What is most important in your life? This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. If you're launching a career, raising a family, planning for retirement, or creating a legacy, we can help. At Provident, we provide strategic thinking and perspective that help clients realize their goals. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
All right, so Illinois plays basketball tonight, 7:30 at Nebraska. Always a tough place to play. Brad was asked yesterday if Tomislav Isevich will play.
No.
Sure?
No.
Please?
No.
Okay. So our 7'1", 250 mononucleosis, he's out. And again, I've heard of mono. I think it does linger, and these guys are banging around, running up and down, trying to breathe. So it's whenever he's back, he'll be back. But if we survive all this, and we will, you got to be better. We had to learn to play a few games without KJ. Now we have to learn to play our whole inside defense and offensive instigator, huge offensive part of the pick and roll and all the ball screen stuff. No, it's a big... So what happens is Merez Johnson Jr., is getting a lot more playing time, and he had a fabulous game against Northwestern. And Merez Johnson, who couldn't he guard? He's very athletic for being whatever he is, 6'9", 6'10", 255. He's something. I think he's going to be fantastic. Great young man, and a really, really good basketball player. Merez Johnson Jr., so he'll start tonight. And then everybody else feeling good. Kerry Booth, who played a little bit game before last, has the flu. So the flu has really affected this team for, a month? It's kind of run through. They think Tomislav might have had mono even before the USC game. That's weeks ago. So, all right, we'll see what happens. We'll, of course, talk all about it tomorrow morning. All right, it's Pitmaster Extraordinaire, our buddy Tim Onstad. We'll be talking to him next.
We would like to invite you to the St. Joseph Ogden FFA auction February 1st at the St. Joseph Ogden High School. Dinner and silent auction begins at 5, followed by a live auction at 6. There are no tickets needed to attend, and anyone is welcome.
Items to be auctioned off include fire pits, solo stove, various Milwaukee tools, door lock welding table, various silent auction baskets and gift certificates from local businesses.
You can learn more about our auction at our Facebook page, St. Joseph Ogden FFA.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Chris Foster. Bodies are being recovered from the Potomac River near Washington, D.C. after the collision of an American Airlines jet and Army Black Hawk helicopter.
We are now at a point where we are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation. At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors from this accident.
D.C. Fire and EMS Chief John Donnelly. There were 3 people on the helicopter, 64 on the flight coming into Reagan National Airport from Wichita, Kansas. President Trump's FBI Director nominee Kash Patel has a Senate confirmation hearing today.
He said he'd close the FBI building in Washington, D.C. and turn it into a museum about the deep state. Ahead of the hearing, Senate Judiciary Committee ranking member Dick Durbin asked for more information about what he said were unauthorized comments Patel had made about the rescue of 2 Americans held captive by Iranian-backed militants in Yemen.
That's Jessica Rosenthal. America's listening to Fox News.
If you want to see fireworks, try and watch Kash Patel, the nominee for FBI, because he has said a lot of stuff. So, it's one of those pay-per-view, I might pay it kind of thing, because that's going to be contentious for sure. Okay, local news.
Here's a look at local news. Search underway to find a woman who went missing in Champaign. Police say Brittany Shervisky was last seen July 24th of last year. The 35-year-old was reported missing last week. Anyone with information, contact Champaign police. Illinois Republicans suing over the state's legislative map. House GOP members filed a lawsuit asking the state Supreme Court to declare the Democratic mapping effort an unconstitutional political gerrymandering. Suit claims the boundaries were drawn to give Democrats supermajorities in the state House and Senate. Republicans argue the legislative boundaries enacted into the state law in 2021 violate the state's constitution mandate that elections be free and equal. The jury could begin deliberating in Michael Madigan's landmark corruption trial. Deliberations will start after prosecutors present a rebuttal argument. Michael McClain delivered his closing arguments on Tuesday. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, and vicinity, and the bio beat continues on. Matter of fact, slightly slower arriving colder air, probably about 10 days out from now, but no shortage of wet weather systems. We'll have to keep an eye on area streams and rivers, ice jamming breaking on up as well, and the likelihood of some ponding in some of these fields too, with probably an inch or 2 worth of rain spread over the next 5 to 7 days. Speaking of which, rain breaking out over the southwest and southern ends of the state. That'll be arriving around here this afternoon, increasing cloudiness up to 46, good 15 above
above average south wind. Periods of rain tonight, areas of fog as winds drop back down to 42. Tomorrow, cloudy, turning cooler. Rain in the morning, a little rain and drizzle in the afternoon. Might have a little wet snow mixed in well north and northwest of the Champaign area towards evening time, with a high tomorrow at 47. Slowly falling temperatures in the afternoon as winds pick up out of the north. Clearing late tomorrow night, low down to 28. Partly sunny, mild 44 Saturday, 57 on Sunday. Dry Monday and Tuesday in the 40s, and more rain next Wednesday and Thursday. For CVJ Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
And now, a brand new show called Smoke, where we help you with your grill and making the best meat ever. With award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstadt. Smoke in Tim's Grill. He's the best brisket maker ever. Smoke in Tim's Grill. And now award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstadt. Always a pleasure. The man running Gale Ferrick's Trucking and Dedicated Diesel. You there? Tim, are you there?
Hello?
Are you there? Can you hear me? Oh, now. How about now? Tim, are you there? Are you there? Tim. Weird. I did something. Tim, are you there? Are you there? Tim, can you hear me? 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 I messed something up, I think. Tim cannot hear me, but I sure hear him. Tim Onstadt. What did I do, Steve J? Tim. Yeah. See, we have a big board here, and I might have hit a button. And if you hit a button not normal, okay, I see what I mean. Okay, that should do it. Let me try again here. That should work. This is live radio, my friends.
Good morning. I had nothing.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Boy, see, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 9 buttons in front of me on one phone control, and I, of course, hit my phone on it, and I didn't know where it was supposed to be. Now I do. Good to have you back.
Well,
man.
Diane couldn't reach it from Memphis.
That's exactly right. And she should have been able to meet you. Golly. Tim Onstadt, pitmaster extraordinary. Pleasure, sir. So today we're talking about selecting meat. And just to let you know where we're starting from here with me, it'd be like me picking up a gallon of milk. I check the expiration and grab it. I don't know anything about how you pick out meat, and there is a talent to this because you can see better meat because of your experience, correct?
Well, yeah, but I'm going to make it easy for you. I was thinking about yesterday what we're going to talk about this morning on the show, and we're getting into the time of the year when meat selection is very, very good. You got the good thick ribs. Later on in the summer, the pigs they're using are smaller because they went through 4th of July or whatever, and later in the year you get smaller ribs. You get less marbling in your pork butts. Things just get smaller, but they built up over the winter, and there's a good selection right now where you can get some good thick ribs. The meat's just got a little more age on the hoof, so it's a little bit better quality. And while I was doing that, you know how things work. I get a text from Hank Cornblood at Mr. Brisket out in Cleveland, and he says, "Hey, I've got a large stock of signature level Imperial Wagyu briskets in the 16 to 20 pound range on sale for $7.99 a pound." For Wagyu, that is an excellent price.
Oh, I mean, normally it's what, 15?
Oh, 13 to 17.
Man.
Yeah. And if you want to get a competition brisket and have it trimmed up for you, they'll do that, and they sell those for a flat $145. If you want to try a whole pack of what we cook and the competition trim, they'll send you the competition box that's a trimmed brisket, 16 chicken thighs that have been defatted and the skin wrapped around them. I believe 4 racks of ribs, or three pork collars, which is basically the money muscle end of the pork butt. They cut it off right there behind the shoulder blade. And if somebody wants to try and cook what we cook with the same quality of meat, it's 3 racks of ribs. They'll ship that to you for $449.
That's a lot of meat, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a competition pack. That's exactly what we're cooking. I've used these before.
Man, how do you find Mr. Brisket? I mean, there's a lot of people selling meat in the world.
Well, Hank is big in the barbecue support side. He sponsors contests in Ohio. They're in Cleveland. I got to know him back probably 7 or 8 years ago when I was trying to figure it all out. He helped me out a lot.
That's awesome.
He's got some quality there, and you can get to them at MrBrisket.com. You can click on the competition barbecue section, and it'll list all the packs and everything that they have for sale there. Now, I don't get anything from Mr. Brisket. Hank is a friend of mine. You know me. If something's crap, I'll tell you it's crap.
No, you will.
If
you
it's
will.
good, I'm going to pass it on.
Well, I don't think I would buy such a meat unless you were coming over. Hey, Tim, how are you? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing now?
Well, and Hank Shop's number is 216-932-8620. But MrBrisket.com is an easy way.
Yeah.
Of course, I have a cell phone number.
Oh, heck yeah.
Wants that,
no, you're buds, and he has to be proud of you because, let's go back in time for Tim. You were just the basic old barbecue grill guy. You made cheeseburgers, and then you turned into this championship brisket guy. What the heck?
Well, I used one of Hank's good briskets in Peoria in 2018, I think, and kind of shocked the world with. There were at least 7 or 10 of the top 25 brisket cooks in the world there, and we kind of shocked them with a second place finish over in Peoria.
Well, you had one where you were the perfect score with the brisket. Was that Mr. Brisket?
Honestly, I believe that was an Australian A9 that we got out of Pensacola, Florida.
No idea what you're talking about. Okay, whatever. A9. Generally, I use A10, but that's cool. A9's fine.
Well, the grading, that's the highest grade of Australian Wagyu you can get is an A9.
But if I go to the grocery store, is there a tip on how to buy does it matter what color the New York strip is? If it's faded red or bright red, does it matter?
You want a dark red with a lot of marbling in it.
Marbling.
And they put it under those lights to make it look good and whatever.
Yeah.
The biggest tip for that, what I do is I get it out of the case and I walk over to where it's more normal lighting.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't stand under the fluorescent lights and look at it. That's artificial.
So you want a kind of a brilliant red or you want a dull red?
I'm not necessarily concerned about the color of the red.
It's
I'm
the marbling.
looking at the white, the marbling that's in the meat.
That's the flavor of everything, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In beef it is.
Okay.
And pork, the marbling is the juice that's in it. There's different kinds of white in there. You don't want the hard fat, the hard white stuff. You want the fat that's within the meat, not around it.
I got you. Tim Onstad.
I cut all that white stuff off.
Okay, but there's not a lot of juice there, but that's not the good stuff. It's Tim Onstad, who's obviously a pro. Do you got any contests lined up here already, or no?
Oh, that's another thing I was looking at yesterday. I'm looking at 6 contests that we may do.
Wow.
Right now, our season will start June 7th and 8th at the Hoosier Classic in Franklin, Indiana.
Okay.
I'm also looking at Eureka, Illinois, the Buckeye Classic in Hillsboro, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Love to go beat some Buckeyes. Of course, Madison, Indiana, we always do. Mount Vernon, Indiana, and we may make a return to Murfreesboro, Illinois this year. I'm not sure. We're still finalizing what the schedule is going to be.
We just have your agent talk to him and say, "You want my guys? You want my guys? That's $15,000 for them to appear. That's what it's going to take." Okay, all right.
They'll say, "We don't care. Just pay the entry fee."
Yeah, that's right. All right, Tim, talk to me about dedicated diesel and Dixie Chopper. Anything new here?
Hey, we have no snow on the ground over here now. It's melted off. You can see the grass. It's time to think about mowing it here in a couple of months. I think Greg's going to whack us with some cold weather before we get to that point. But now's a great time to get over to see Andy and get your Dixie chopper picked out. Make a deal with him. Financing available. There's discounts for first responders, all kinds of things. Andy can run through that and help you out.
And Gail Ferrick's Trucking, how's everything?
Oh, we're trucking along. It's busy right now. We have 2 empty seats. I think we filled one up last week. We had a nice young guy come in and get set up, and he's going to be going out here in a week or so, and that'll leave us 2 seats for somebody that wants a guaranteed gross pay for the week and wants to have some home time and be able to enjoy his family also.
Awesome. And how do they contact Tim Onstadt?
They can get me at Timo, Timo, at gftlog.com, or call the office at 765-793-7131.
Hey, buddy, appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Stevie. Have a great day.
You as well. Tim Onstadt, Gail Ferrick's Trucking, and dedicated diesel home of the Dixie Chopper on ESPN 93.5. All right, it's a quarter till. Have you seen Tomislav Vicevic, Coach Underwood?
No. We see him periodically. He's spending most of his time with the doctors and Fletch and the training staff and using all of our modalities with the hyperbaric oxygen chambers and infrareds to try to expedite the best you can this process. But this process is what it is. So, it's just it's a gradual deal.
Okay, but how, as a coach, do you deal with this?
You never like it as a coach. I don't, but I also have been around long enough to understand that you're going to be forced to do different things, and this team has great capabilities of doing that. We played without 2 of our best players, throughout the first half of conference play. So we've had 5-6 games now, where we haven't had our whole group. So, adjusting on the fly. It's tribute to these guys how a young team has been able to handle that. It shows their basketball IQ, their intelligence. But the best thing about the Northwestern game is we got our edge back, and we played with a little fire in our belly, which helps.
Yep, 7:30 tonight, Illinois, Lincoln, Nebraska. Usually pretty hard. The road is hard in the Big Ten. We got to play well, got to play with that energy, and see what happens. And then it was announced that Kofi Cockburn will be coming back to see his jersey raised to the rafters. Kofi Cockburn will be here the Tuesday night, the UCLA game. Mark your calendars, that's February 11. And then just a few days later on Saturday, February 15, the Michigan State game. Terrence Shannon will be back to see his jersey raised to the rafters. And when you said Kofi, all I think about is Georgie Bashad-Zavilde with his arm around Kofi's neck in the postgame.
Amazing. It was amazing. Amazing, man. It was so great. I can't explain it. It was so
Kofi's
great.
just laughing.
It was amazing, man. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was after we beat Ohio State, and Georgie came in to take spot for Kofi because Kofi, I think, got in foul trouble, and Georgie scored 10 straight points and really was critical. Anyway, memories. Anyway, we'll welcome back Kofi and Terrence. And Io's already got his jersey up there. And Brad said, to get this kind of honor 3 guys in 8 years is pretty darn good in the history of Illinois basketball. Okay, we're going to check your weather with Greg coming up.
Crime is happening right now in our neighborhoods and across our communities, but you can help stop it with a donation to Champaign County Crime Stoppers. Your tax-deductible donation is an investment in a safer community for your family, your business, and the future we all deserve. Crime Stoppers has been fighting crime and assisting local law enforcement for nearly 4 decades, and we are funded through the generous support of those willing to stand up against crime. Join our ranks by visiting ChampaignCountyCrimeStoppers.org and donating today.
Attention drivers. When it comes to your car, trust matters. That's why savvy drivers choose PDR Automotive for top-notch service and unbeatable quality. From routine maintenance to complex repairs, their team of expert technicians has the skill and experience to keep your vehicle running smoothly. At PDR Automotive, customer satisfaction is their priority, and they won't rest until your car is back on the road performing at its best. Visit PDR Automotive in Urbana today, family-owned and operated for more than 50 years. They're what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Tim Culver, owner and president of Classic Plumbing and Air.
A plumber is a person that is well-rounded. They have education, they have experience, and they are versed in more than only one phase of plumbing. A plumber is someone that has experience in all three phases, and they understand how all three of these plumbing aspects work together as well.
Was in the heating and air conditioning business for approximately 30 years and then retired in 2021. So I came out of retirement because I'm very big on taking care of our local community. The most satisfying part of my job is when I know that I've done the right thing for the customer, taking care of the customer's happy, and when I walk out the door that I'm not afraid to put a sign out in front of their house that says, "This job was done by Chuck Thompson, Classic Plumbing and Air."
Visit them at classicplum.com.
At F&B Wealth Management, it's not just about numbers, it's about people and communities. Hi, I'm Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank and F&B Wealth Management. Our team is united by a shared passion for helping you achieve your financial goals. We are equipped and eager to work together to craft personalized financial solutions just for you, including retirement planning, risk management through life insurance, long-term care insurance planning, and investment advisory services. Together, we will celebrate milestones, navigate life's transitions, and build a financial future that reflects your values. Experience the difference of a team that truly cares. Visit investwithfnb.com to learn more about dedicated advisors and start your journey toward a financial confidence today.
F&B Wealth Management is a division of Fisher National Bank. F&B securities are not insured by the FDIC, not a deposit or other obligation of or guaranteed by the depository institution, subject to investment risks, including possible loss of the principal amount invested. Securities, insurance, and investment advisory services are offered through Midwestern Securities Trading Company, LLC, MSTC, member FINRA, SIPC, MSTC, and F&B are not affiliated.
F&B Wealth Management, supporting exceptional communities full of exceptional people.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois. Champaign and is Saturday, and the mild weather pattern continues on around here, virtually unabated, at least now into the middle part of next week, with two significant wet weather systems coming our way. One on the doorstep here for later this afternoon through tomorrow. Another one due in here for the middle and late portions of next week, but none too far away. Cold air, snow and ice as well to the north and northwest later next week. Otherwise, increasing cloudiness for the day-to-day. Some rain breaking out this afternoon, mild up to 46. Periods of rain tonight and some areas of fog too, low down to 42. Tomorrow cloudy, turning colder. Some rain in the morning, drizzle in the afternoon. Up north of Champaign, maybe a little wet snow mixed in towards evening time as the precip moves out. A high near 47 tomorrow with falling temperatures in the afternoon. But back into a partly sunny, mild Saturday, 44. 57 degrees on a partly sunny, lovely Sunday. We're in the 40s Monday and Tuesday. More rain ahead next Wednesday and Thursday. Daytime temperatures still in the 40s to near 50 degrees. For CVG Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
Illinois basketball star Merez Johnson on needing some help from Sarah Champagne and Ben Quattrone.
I was going back home for a weekend and I was going to be downtown. I text Ben, I'm like, can I get a different car? Go to Chicago, and I got something small, a nice Buick, something that was nice. I got my car back when I came. It was quick. Ben and Sarah Champagne took care of me.
And Sarah Champagne would do that for you too. Learn more at sarahchampagne.com. That's SERA champagne.com. Tried to keep track of the mid-air collision. American Airlines commuter plane from Wichita to Reagan International, Washington, with a Black Hawk helicopter. NTSB is there. There's no survivors, 67 dead. Just a horrific score. It happened last night about 10 till 9. And now the National Transportation Safety Board will have the jurisdiction figure it out, do the investigation, everything else. Appreciate John Decker being on a busy morning. He had to delay and be on earlier this hour. John Decker, our journalist, great television, White House correspondent. He said the press room has changed because the Trump administration has allowed so many people to have an opportunity to be in that press room, including new media. Whatever they do, they can apply. So they're really opening it up for everybody. Podcasters, influencers. You have a chance to be in the press room if you can get to Washington. But you could get a press pass, I guess. Anyway, John gets called on regularly, even over the Washington Post and Wall Street Journal and some of the biggies. So it's always a pleasure to have him on. All right, tomorrow, Brother Johnny will jump on Fridays as he normally does. We've got a game tonight. I mentioned 7:30 in Illinois at Nebraska. And then we turn around and play pretty quick on Sunday. Sunday at noon, CBS National Television. And believe it or not, my friend Kyler tells me it's the first time since 2011 since CBS on a national broadcast has been in Champaign. 2011? He missed all the Kofi and Io years and Trent Frazier's and all the things we've done. Never had a chance to be here at a home game. So the CBS cameras will be here, and a lot of eyeballs will be on that. There's no football, getting ready for the Super Bowl, which will be a week from Sunday. Philadelphia and the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know. Philadelphia's really good, and they could win, but good luck beating Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. I just think he's so good. And he's not like this amazing athlete. He's just kind of clunky. But he can't tackle him. And he'll throw a ball on the run that's unbelievable. And he does it all the time, particularly in the playoffs. So I think Kansas City has a great chance to do what no other NFL team has done in 60 years, and that's win 3 straight Super Bowls. Unbelievable. Okay, boys, this afternoon, Lonte Derek Piper with Kyle Toss. Got to be after 3 on The Drive. I am Stevie J. Diane's taking a little vacation. I'll be back tomorrow with you. Thank you for listening, and have yourself a fantastic, whatever day this is, fantastic Thursday.
Did you know that routine maintenance on your furnace helps improve air quality in your home? Along with making sure your furnace is operating at maximum efficiency, Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing wants to make sure your home is as comfortable as possible. Voted People's Choice #1 HVAC and plumbing company for the 3rd time in 4 years, let the expert team make sure you'll be warm all winter long. Call 217-841-4728 or visit dogtownheatingandair.com. Book your appointment today. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
Drive in, drive out. Recycling's what Max is all about. You can make some cash and do your share. We make it really simple because we care. It doesn't matter large or small. Our friendly staff will handle it all. Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Dedicated Diesel, home of the Dixie Chopper, still got Gail Frerich's used Dixie Chopper laying around the yard there? Or?
Yeah, I believe Gale's is still there. It is a great machine, a big classic, and then we have a couple more really good used models I'd like to get rid of before the snow's gone. But now's the time to check out some great deals while your grass is covered up. I know most people aren't thinking about mowing yet, but this is the time that the prices are going to be the lowest.
How can people reach Tim Onstadt?
They can get me at timo@gftlog.com and call the office at 765-793-7131. Get a hold of Andy. The shop is 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana, 217-328-0562, or Dedicated Equipment on Facebook.
You're the man. Thank you so much, Tim. Always a pleasure. Thanks,
you. Thanks, guys.
You bet.
Music therapy is a creative arts-based therapy that allows for creativity and expression while working on therapeutic goals. It is evidence-based and is facilitated by a board-certified licensed professional with music interventions to meet clinical and individual goals that are created together with the music therapist from Harmonia Healing Studio and their client. Music therapy is a strength-based, client-centered treatment, listening and making music, songwriting, improvisation, and more. Working with children and adults with intellectual, physical, or cognitive disabilities, mental health, mood disorders, behavioral issues, or trauma and PTSD. Harmonia Healing Studio, 109 North Main Street in St. Joseph. For in-office or telehealth visits, get started now as you reach out to harmoniahealingstudio.com. Visit Harmonia Healing Studio on Facebook or Instagram.
Our friendly sales team help you to find just the right appliance, just the right price.
I'm Paul Reekin, and you know my dad, Dennis, for the famous Wow. Yeah, that's the one. That Wow is a Central Illinois tradition, decades in the making. It's our award-winning staff that puts the Wow in Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We have in-house service, in-house appliance installation, a knowledgeable sales staff that will make sure you get the guaranteed best deal on your next appliance purchase. Oh, and let's not forget, a jingle that's been around for decades. Just like the quality service we provide, I'll make sure it's here for decades to come. We're the store that makes you say, Wow!
We stand behind what we sell, we offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
This is WSJK Tuscola Champaign